What's up, babes? It's Curly's Victoria. I am back with yet another video. If you guys are new here, hi, welcome to my channel. If you've already been subscribed, thank you so much for coming back. Follow me here on YouTube at Curly's Victoria, and then on Instagram, TikTok at Curly's Victoria, spelled the exact same way as my YouTube name. Real quickly, we're gonna get into this video, and I just want to talk about 7 of the things that I'm gonna be doing to jumpstart this new year, to put myself in a better position. I'm gonna actually notate them as I'm speaking because they're not gonna be in an order. In a way, I already know them up here, but they're gonna be off cuff for the video in a sense. But like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and aim to put them in my notes so that it would make it that much easier, so that you guys could see the 7 things. Maybe I should title it that. 7 things I'm doing to boss up for the new year. Okay, right? So the first thing, let me just title it, let me spell out 7 so it doesn't make it weird. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm setting the goals, baby. So when you set your goals, you're being intentional, okay? So I'm gonna put that in parentheses, intentional living, okay? So setting goals and accomplishing goals are a huge thing when you are trying to achieve something. I always say it's really good to have multiple accountability partners, at least one if you could have one. But if you so choose to not have one, or you don't feel like anybody's worthy to be your accountability partner, I'm just throwing out scenarios, then your best accountability partner is going to be your notebook, your paper, your iPad, your iPencil. You know what I mean? Those are going to be your measures of accountability. But if you're not doing anything to hold yourself accountable, it's going to be very hard for you to actually hold yourself accountable. So for me, it's like, okay, when I set my goals, I write them down, I say them, I affirm them, I put them in my notes in my phone, I put them on a piece of paper. Your girl is going to have something to reference goals back to on another day. So for me, I'll go ahead and set the goal and say, you know, hey, I want to finish my broker's post-licensing class by January 1st, 2023. So I am putting it on my calendar to say, work on this amount today, work on this amount, or I'll just say by the end of this month, have part 1 done, by the end of next month, have part 2 done, and by January, just be completely done. Now, granted, I'm a year and a half away from the actual post-licensing expiring, but I don't like to do things last minute. That's hanging out, that's business. If something is off the cuff and I can actually go, then I'll go. But sometimes I will definitely feel like I'm not about to pressure myself to do something that was not already lined up in my plans. That's me. So that's what it is. So that's what I decided to do in terms of that. So set the goals. Be intentional. Intentional living is living with purpose. That's how I look at intentional living. You want to live your best life, you want a purpose-driven, purpose-fulfilled life, then you're going to have to live intentionally. Schedule blocking your days and things like that are going to help. Which underneath setting goals, I'm going to say schedule block as a subcategory. Some of you are maybe thinking, what the crap is a schedule block, sis? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I'm loving to fill you in right now. I don't know why this is doing this way, but let me see. Weird. I'm trying to put subcategories. So, schedule block. Schedule blocking, for example, is, say you wake up 5 a.m. and you go to bed at 9 o'clock at night. From 5 a.m. to 9 o'clock at night, you need to have every hour, every minute, every second blocked out of your day. If you know you got a doctor's appointment in the morning, you might say, oh, I want to work out 5 to 6, eat 6 to 7, doctor's appointment 7 to 8, go to work 8 to 5. From 5 to 7, I just want to go walk my dog and go to sleep, or just chill or hang out, downtime, make phone calls, whatever needs to be done. And then from 8, I don't know, past that time, 7 to 9, I want to be able to go shower, eat, and just wind down so I can go to bed at 9. You have your entire schedule set out for the day. Now, granted, things are able to change, but you are maximizing your schedule for the day. You're maximizing the time in which you need to utilize to get things done. You're essentially knowing where your time is every day. And I know people get off because it gets to that point where you get busy and you got things going on, and somebody's asked you what you're doing tomorrow. It shouldn't be I don't know. It really should be, well, tomorrow I'm gonna work on business and I'm going to hang out. Now, I think sometimes as a lazy response we say I don't know, but in a actual strategic response, the response would be, I'm gonna do some work tomorrow, I'm gonna work on my additional branding, and I'm gonna go hang out with my friend at night. That is a more responsive response when you are intentional about your life. Yeah. So like I said, sometimes it's easy to get lazy but that is the actual what you will be saying. So like I said, setting goals, intentional living, schedule blocking. Underneath that setting goal is a subcategory. And I would just say, when you set goals, I remember I'm never gonna forget this. Maybe one day I will forget this when I get old and gray and can't remember things, okay? However, I remember I used to go to this Dunkin' Donuts, and I would always go to this specific one because I knew that I can sit in there, it's gonna be a little bit quiet, and I could get my work done. And I would sit in this Dunkin', and I remember this young gentleman see me come in there all the time, and he says, what do you do in that notebook all the time? And I said, I'm setting my goals, setting up the things that I'm striving to achieve. And he said he wanted to do X, Y, and Z, things he wanted to try to work on. And he said, how do you set goals? Like, how do you set goals? Like, and some of y'all might be like, come on, bro, really? But no, he really wanted to understand, how do you set up your goals? What method are you using? And I expressed to him what I'm expressing to you. I write out my goals, short term, intermediate, or you could say middle, but I would say intermediate, and long term goals. That's how I set them. Short term, that might be 0 to 3 months. Intermediate might be maybe, who knows, 6 to 12 months. 6 to, maybe even short term be a year, depending on how you look at it. Long term goals could be, what's going to set me up for the rest of my life? What can I be doing? So for right now, I'm going to give you examples, because I do realize that some people watch my videos and you're very, 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 very educated on goal setting. You're very, very educated and disciplined on getting things done. And then it's some of you who don't understand this jargon, which is fine, because I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to assist anyone who could be assisted from anything that I know. So for example, short term, intermediate, long term, I'm going to give you an example. My short term goals right now: get my brokerage operating the way that I want it to do. Why is that short term? Because that's something that I can achieve within the next 3 months if I really focus. I want to finish my post license. So as I'm doing this right now, I'm going to be putting in parentheses next to each of these terms. I'm actually going to be putting what I'm doing for these things. So for short term, I'm going to say brokerage operating smoothly. And I know what that means, even though it's operating now, but I know what smoothly means, right? I don't have to put so much detail when I know exactly what it means in all, right? Brokerage operating smoothly. Finish post licensing. One thing about that post licensing, why y'all keep hearing me talk about it, is when I'm in that first renewal period of that being a broker right now, if you don't do this education by a specific date and the date passes and you haven't done it, your license can become null and void. And I've worked too hard for this license, so I'm not about to let that happen. So finish post licensing, get back registered for my doctoral program, because the new semester will start in the beginning of the year, so I need to set up my classes. These are all things that can be done. And then I want to set 2023 goals, set new budget goals, grow assets, and that's what that's going to be for short term, right? Now let's move on to intermediate. Intermediate is middle. It's the in-between of a short term and a long term, right? Intermediate. So we're going to say for my short term goal, I'm going to say 0 to 6 months, right? That's what we're going to put it as. Yeah, 0 to 6 months is what I'm going to say. For my intermediate goal, I'm going to say we're going to put this one at 6 to 12 months. No, I don't like that. We're going to say 6 months to 5 years, right? And I'm only putting it that long because long term is, what do you see yourself doing in the next 5 years? That's what I'm going to put long term, 5 years plus. So for my intermediate 6 months to 5 years, my goal for that one is I want to grow my brokerage and have 1 to 2 operation locations. I want to finish my doctoral program. Normally doctoral programs you have about 7 years to finish, but 6 months to 5 years I want my doctoral program to be completed. Financially responsible on a whole other level. And when I say that, I'm talking about big boss energy. Right now I'm very witty on a lot of things, but I think a lot of people don't understand what you do with small is going to determine what you will do at large. When your business is small and it's starting out, it's going to be different than when your business is big, because if you don't know how to control your finances when it's small, when it grows, you're going to be reckless. And I'm not saying that's what I'm doing, but I'm just saying this is just something that I'm referring to. I want my business to be $1 million operation by 5 years. By year 5. And then for long term, I want residual income heavily coming in. Residuals are happening now, but I'm saying the more you do, the more you're going to expect for that to be. I want residuals to be coming in heavily. I want my business, I want it to be able to sustain hurricanes, disasters, market crashes, all that. I know a business that's a really good company who was able to actually grow their business to so many locations, about 30 to 40 locations, while we were experiencing the pandemic. Why? Because their business was fortunate enough to not take a hit during the pandemic because people were still in demand of their products. So stuff like that, those are the things that I'm saying I want to be able to sustain these harsh, things that happen and not have to lose your business because of a disaster or something, right? I at least have 3 operations, 3 locations, and traveling and living my best life. I don't really want much, I just want to set myself up, do what I need to do, and I'm also going to say living my best life, creating opportunities and breaking cycles, generational curses, creating The key is legacy. Creating a legacy, right? Sometimes you're the chosen one sent to go and make things happen so that your family dynamics can change in the future. And other times, you know, you have other family members who are capable of doing the same. But when you're chosen, it's not about you anymore. It's about carrying that name and making sure that your family is able to take that legacy on with them for the next generations to come. So I know I've gotten, I don't want to say sidetracked because I haven't. I just know that first point was a very, very, very long, about 16 minutes on just the very first thing that I'm talking about. So the 7 things that I'm doing to boss up for the new year, I've already notated. Like I said, the first one is setting goals, intentional living, schedule blocking, short-term goals, 0 to 6 months. I'm talking about brokerage operating smoothly. I want to finish the post-licensing class, get back registered for doctoral program for the new year, set 2023 goals, set new budget goals, and grow assets. For my intermediate goals, 6 months to 5 years is what I'm putting that. Really, you can dictate how far out you want these goals to be, but I'm saying 6 months to 5 years, the middle goals. I want to grow my brokerage, have 1 to 2 operation locations, finish my doctoral program to be completed, financially responsible on a whole nother level, $1 million operation by 5 years. Long-term goal, residual income, heavily coming in, my brokerage to sustain market crashes and disasters, at least have 3 operating locations, traveling, living my best life, creating operation, what am I trying to say? Oh, creating opportunities. Why did they say operations? Opportunities and breaking cycles and generational curses. I want to leave a legacy. Also, I want all of my business endeavors thriving. It's not just real estate that I'm into, so everything else that I'm involved with, I want to be able to strive. So now let's move on to the second thing that I'm going to be doing to boss up heavily in the new 2023. I'm going to say tunnel vision. I will be having major tunnel vision, and I'm going to say major tunnel vision. I'm not going to break this one down to so many points, but when I say major tunnel vision, I'm saying cutting off people when, you know, they're not serving my life, saying no to a lot more things so that I can say yes to myself, focused. You're not going to get where you're going to get by just being accessible. So I'm going to say next to major tunnel vision, no longer easily accessible. Like if you see me in things that I do for my downtime, that's one thing. But having the actual access to hang out with me and do things all the time, no. And that doesn't make it like, oh, I'm too good for everybody. No. I just got to stay focused. Because in 5 years from now, those people who keep trying to always, oh, let's do this, let's go here, let's go do these things that won't return investments are going to be in the same place they're in now. They're going to be in that same place 5 years from now. But you, my friend, if you focus on what you need to focus on 5 years from now, you'll be okay. Statistically speaking, a small business takes about 2 years in its operation flow before it actually starts to pick up and do what it needs to do. 2 years is normally statistically what it is. Now, granted, businesses can take off whether they've been in business a long time or for a shorter period of time. But statistically proven, it'll take about 2 solid years to get your business in operation of what you want. Now, if we're talking about 5 years from now, and it only takes you about 2 if you stay focused to get it operating the way you need, you're going to be doing well in those year 3 through 5. So, easily accessible? No. Like, you need to focus. The next thing that I'm going to say that I'm doing to boss up for the new year is getting back on routine. What does that include? We're talking about fitness, eating habits, hobbies, etc. Right? The fourth thing I'm going to say that I'm going to do in the new year to get back or to boss up is I don't want to put this under goals anymore. increasing my follow-up. When I say increasing my follow-up, it's for business, etc. Following up with people is one of the most important things you can do. When you tell somebody I'm going to call you back, or when you tell somebody, hey, I'll reach out tomorrow, continue to keep striving to follow up, because those follow-ups is what make people want to deal with you, because they say, oh, she consistent. Oh, she really be doing what I asked her to do. She really do be coming through. You want to make sure that your follow-up game is on point. If you never follow up with the people you speak to, it's going to be very difficult for them to trust the process. So follow up. I do that now, but there's always room for improvement. So that's going to be that. Another thing I'll be doing in the new year is minimalizing. Right now, it looks like I have a lot of things because I have a small condo. However, I don't have that much. I could pack that house up and leave in a day. However, I want to get back to my statement wardrobe, which is just statement pieces that can go for me for years. Like, I have things that I've had for years. Statement wardrobe. Not having unnecessary items. Like, that's what minimalizing falls under. I find that when there's clutter and when there's too many things in my house that I don't need, I feel myself stressed. I feel myself having anxiety. So I will be minimalizing. That just kind of falls under my cleaning category. Minimalism at its best. Now, when I say minimalism, I know that I have a lot of shoes. I have a lot of clothes. I'm not saying I'm going to do the minimalism to where you only have one plate, one glass, one pair of shoes. You know, I'm not doing that. Now, there's some people who live like that. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying, if it's something that I've worn, I'm not going to wear again, it's gone. If it's something that's in the house that I don't use, it's gone. You know, like that. It's only going to be things that I use on a daily, pretty much, or on a weekly. The next thing I'm going to do in the new year, the 6th thing to boss up, I mean, I keep saying in the new year, but I mean to say to boss up for the new year. This is me getting prepared, and these are the things that will carry me through the new year. Is affirmations plus quarterly goals. And this could fall under like setting the goals, but the reason I'm saying it like this is I want to get back into a daily routine of it. Quarterly goals, those are quarter, right? But affirmations, daily. So daily affirmations, those right there, you could say 3 daily affirmations, which I have a journal where I write them down, but lately I haven't been consistent with the daily aspect of it. So yeah, when you start putting things out there to the universe of what you want, God has a really good way of bringing it back to you, or whatever you believe, whichever deity. But I believe in God, so that's what I'm referencing. The 7th thing that I'm going to do is bet on myself more. I have the ability to go to a lot of businesses and things like that and be able to really turn these businesses up, right? Make these businesses money, right? So let me put that same energy into me. Let me put that same energy into me. Because then I know it's going to be lit. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to keep doing. I'm going to go back to those notes. And I'm also going to say, under that bet on myself, content. Creation. And being consistent on my platforms. Now, granted, sometimes I do need to take a step back because I do operate all of this stuff normally, but I want to be consistent on keeping up with these platforms of content. So those are the 7 things I'm doing to boss up for the new year. I would love to know what you're going to be doing in the comment section. So make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm going to upload this video when I get home, but I definitely want to hear what you guys have planned. And I will see you beautiful babes in the next video. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.